knew? We thought so. SVP is mixing things up, and digital TV, it'll never be the same.
SVP TV, we're family. We're gonna make you fall in love with SVP.
Download the SVP app today on Roku, Apple, and Fire TV. Watch us. You know why?
We're gonna make you fall in love with SVP TV.
Tune in to Talking Law with attorney Darrell O'Neill and the special guest host, attorney Jerome Payne. Live TV talk on your digital device on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. Download the SVP TV app right now. Check us out every Tuesday on Comcast Cable, Channel 17, 8:30 p.m. And we are live every Friday on Facebook Live, 6 o'clock in the evening. You've got a question, our attorneys have the answer. So let's talk law with attorney Darrell O'Neill on the SVP TV network.
Welcome to Talking Law with Darrell O'Neill. I'm your host, Darrell. I got my main man, Jerome.
What's up, Darrell?
Man, I started to say my name twice.
I know you did, man.
I like myself so much, I was saying my name twice.
Ain't
man.
nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it.
Again, we're going to do a new topic tonight, man. So, man, I hope somebody got some calls because we got some interesting stuff I want to talk about tonight.
No question about it, Darrell.
But to do that, you got to have Facebook Live. You got to have Roku TV, you got to have Apple TV or Fire Stick, or you can look at the YouTube, it's a YouTube Live. You can look at YouTube Live. So you have any of those apps or the SVTV network app, you can see us live,
Yes.
and then you can call. And we got the phone here ready to answer any questions,
Yes,
so you
sir.
can call.
Yes, sir.
So with that in mind, got to give our shout outs to California. My son's still out there doing things, Give out some shout outs to Little Rock. We got a nice little audience in there.
Okay.
Shout out to West Memphis. Got an audience over in West Memphis. Shout out to Shelby County, Memphis. Shout out to Mississippi. And I don't care what the audience look like as long as my mom. Shout out to the great state of Missouri.
Hey, Mom.
Okay, Jerome, I want to talk about employment law today.
Okay.
And here's the reason why I want to talk about it. Everybody believes. Hey, Angel, put the number up for him too. Everybody believes that somehow you can be wrongfully terminated in the state of Tennessee.
Yeah, that's a misnomer there.
Have you ever heard people?
All the time.
I mean, whatever happened? Why do they think that?
Well, Darrell, for one thing, though, too, in most Republican states, there's something called at-will employment.
Okay.
And so what that means is that as long as I will you to work, you can work for me. And when I decide I don't want you to work for me, I can let you go. For any reason, even a bad reason, I can terminate you. And so that's why many times too there, we talk about, my practice is kind of like business oriented and collections. And that's sometimes I tell clients, now if you want me to, I'll call your employer about them not stopping a garnishment, but that could result in you being terminated too, because they can fire you at will.
Yeah, and I've heard so many people, man, and again, they come, man, they fired me wrong, man, and they did me wrong, they treated me wrong, I didn't do nothing wrong,
Right.
and it doesn't really matter in Tennessee.
And I don't like just black line stuff.
Yeah.
I like to kind of blur the line a little bit gray, because even though we're at will state, there's still certain restrictions on them firing you.
Well, but those restrictions, Jerome, yeah, you're right. You don't want to black line it.
That's right.
But those restrictions are extremely limited.
I don't think so, Darrell. I think if you mess around, even though you can at will fire me, if you mess around and say you're too old anyway.
Well, okay, but see,
I got a young guy that's ready to take this job, or what? Or I'm tired of you telling us how ill you are every day when you come in here, or I don't like the fact that you are married to a guy or married to a girl.
Well-
do you see?
Yeah.
So it just depends on how it's couched, and that's where you come in by making sure that they. Look, I know that the handbook said I had to give you a verbal warning first, but you just so terrible. I'm telling you, let you go right now.
Yeah.
But so that's what I'm saying. So there's not a black line if they are careful in how they discharge.
Well, okay.
Is that true or not?
Yeah, sort of, Jerome.
Okay.
See, I still say this limited.
Okay.
So there are certain statutes, and so they can fire you for, and here's how the law reads.
Okay.
You can be fired for any reason or no reason, as long as it's non-discriminatory.
Okay. There you go. There you
Okay,
go.
and discrimination has this category of different things in it: age, race, sex, religion, national origin, color, disability.
Right.
You know, retaliation for prior EEO conduct.
Right.
Not just retaliation, but retaliation for prior EEO conduct. So it has. That's the limit of the scope.
Right.
But then there's some other protected class, like for instance, the whistleblower statute.
Oh, yes.
A lot of people come to my office and say, well, you know, they mad at me because I complained, and you know they fired me because I blew a whistle. Well, that's not how the whistleblower statute works.
Right. Right.
You know, I have to always tell people, a whistleblower statute works because you have to establish that you went to an outside agency, and that outside agency is contacting your agency about the claim that you made. That's a whistleblower. You know, it's not, you know, I talked to Pookie,
Right.
Pookie talked to Lorraine,
Right.
and Lorraine said she gonna file, you know, that's not whistleblower.
But there, that's where it comes from. That's where it comes from. The first interview with the prospective client is so terribly important because we don't want to coach them on how they respond,
Right.
but we want to listen and make sure. To me, it's like a law school exam, and you know, and Missy and I talked about that the other day.
Okay.
Is that first interview is like a law school exam? Is that you are picking out the issues as the client speaks. All right, and so just like you said, that person says that no, I went outside. I had to go outside and tell them about all of the corruption that's going on. Everybody who comes in this store, and we're seeing it more and more now, they have a way of turning the cash registers up for an hour, where everybody gets charged an additional 10% on their groceries,
Right.
or clothing or something.
Right.
Now that would be something like, and then if you call the wage and hour commission
Yeah.
or somebody like that, and
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
We're
and
there.
we are. Yeah, I mean, and that's when we start, you know, so they have the, you know, so they have a protection statute for those types of things,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Then they also, like, you got, because family medical leave, yeah, there is a segment of family medical leave that falls under the disability, because you can say it's disability, but the EEOC doesn't cover family medical leave.
Oh, okay.
So family medical leave is a statute and an ordinance of itself. So if they fired you in violation of the Family Medical Leave Act, that's a different violation.
I got you.
Or if they fired you for wages, Fair Labor Standard Act, that's a different act.
Got you.
You know, again, so that's why I say it's limited.
That's
There are
right.
certain rules, regulations, and statutes that protect you.
Got you.
But other than those statutes, if they came in tomorrow, right, and, you know, I got my phone, right, and I got this brown case, right, and they come in and say, man, you really came to work with a brown case on? Don't you know that those types of cases get on my nerve? I tell you what, you ain't got to go home, but you can't stay here. You done. You're done. And you don't have no leg to stand on. Because I fired you for any reason or no reason. You can come into work tomorrow and they can say something like this. Hey, Jerome, I ain't really feeling you today. Do me a favor, get your stuff, not mine, and get up out of here.
And security is right here to escort you
And
to
security gonna make sure you get them out the door.
right.
They gonna follow you
I got
down
you.
and make sure you out of here.
I got you.
Again, they didn't give you a reason, and they fired you. What Tennessee does, and again, I'm not certain how much I agree with it, but what Tennessee does to protect the employee is our unemployment commission.
Oh yeah, that's unemployment commission. What's it called? Equal.
No,
It's just
not
another
the,
name.
not the EEOC. I'm talking about our unemployment commission.
I got you.
So because you're a right, Tennessee's a right to work state.
Okay.
When they fire you for any reason or no reason, you can go right over to the unemployment commission and receive unemployment benefits.
After being off for
I don't know what the
what,
number
7 days or
Yeah,
something like that.
I don't know what the number is.
Right.
But you can go get unemployment benefits.
Right.
And, you know, those
They
unemployment.
have a hearing.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily. You can get a hearing. And you're only going to get a hearing. There's only two reasons you're going to get a hearing.
Right.
Number one, the employer is saying that you're not entitled to it because they had just cause for firing you.
Okay.
That's number one. Or number two, the hearing, the commission decided to give you unemployment benefits, and the employer says, I'm going to fight that because I fired him for good cause.
Okay.
And in fact, that's the
Wait
stat.
a minute. You said an employee has to say, I fired him for good cause. Doesn't that go against what we just said?
Well, it's a different
I can
issue
live with
now.
no cause?
Right. But what happens is, I'm glad you said that.
Right.
And you're figuring it out.
Right.
There's a statute that covers unemployment.
Okay.
And so they said if you get fired for any reason or no reason, you're entitled to unemployment.
Okay.
Unless you voluntarily quit, resign.
Right.
Or two, they had just cause to terminate you. For instance, there was a policy that says that you have to be at work at 5 o'clock and you come in at 5:06. And they said if you come in 5:06, if you come in late for 5 days, we're going to terminate you. The question is, did you know about that policy? Did you see that policy? Did you sign the handbook? And if the answer to that question is yes, then they had good cause to fire you. So you're not going to get unemployment benefits. Now, most employers will not fight your unemployment benefits.
Really?
You know why?
Because they're going to lose?
No.
Well.
They pay it in insurance. They pay SUDA and FUTA.
And plus, you're not going to get paid what you would normally get paid anyway. How much is unemployment?
$275 a week. So you get SUDA or FUTA, you know, because I pay. Look, if I terminate somebody in my office, go down and get some unemployment.
Right.
You can tell them anything you want. I might even send them a separation notice.
I don't even care.
I don't even care because I pay unemployment taxes.
Right, that's right.
That's what I pay it for. I pay insurance.
That's right.
It's the ignorant people,
Yeah.
that, you know, that decide I'm going to prove a point, you know, so they're going to go fight you.
Right.
I don't care that much, you know, and that's just ignorant. That's evil, man. I mean, if you fire somebody, that's their livelihood.
Well, they're already evil because they fired them for no cause. Because you're a brown case, isn't that evil?
Well, you know,
that's evil.
it's not. It's,
Or if I'm 5 minutes late, when it takes me that long to get through the line,
Well-
because everybody's clocking in at the same time.
Yeah, well, that's a different. Most companies that have that line and that clock in line, the rule is that they have a certain period of grace period.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah, they do have a grace period.
I got you.
And normally they're not firing you because you're 5 minutes late.
Right.
They fire because you're outside the grace period.
I got you.
And normally they have checked this. You can clock in 5 minutes before, and you can clock in up to 5 minutes later.
Okay.
So if you're 5 minutes before or 5 minutes later, they don't have a
You're in the
problem.
grace period.
You're in a grace period.
I got you.
So you know you got 10 minutes.
But I love those kinds of cases, man.
Yeah.
Because remember, that's what makes the law. The law is two sides. It's always somebody's always right, somebody's always wrong. But then you got a chance for a third person to come back and say who is right. Or who is wrong. So what I'm concerned about is that many times people just drop their heads and walk away.
Well,
But many times your job is too important.
Yeah.
You got too much time up, and because if you stay on a job more than 5 years, you more than likely got some retirement built up,
well,
don't
it
you?
depends. Most companies.
Everything it depends.
Hey man, that's the damn legal. Hey man, that's the legal.
That's your favorite.
Hey man, that's the legal answer, dog. It depends.
But look there, that's almost like the word say. How do we say it? It's obvious. It's obvious. It's some word that we say all the time that we really know that it's not. What is this? I can't think of it to come to me.
Well, but here's the reason why I said it depends, man, and that is a caveat answer. And the reason why I said it depends, because, look, man, 90% of the job market in the United States, there are no benefits, so you're not going to invest in 5 years. What ends up happening is they pay into Social Security. That's your benefits. They pay into Social Security. It's only when you're working for governmental entities and certain types of companies
Oh, that's
that they
interesting.
give you a pension plan.
Okay.
You know, I mean, a company like FedEx or UPS, you know,
State of Tennessee.
Oh,
yeah.
The city of Memphis,
You're absolutely
Shelby
right.
County,
You're
they
absolutely
have a pension plan for
You're
them.
absolutely right.
And
And it takes 5 years for you to become vested.
invested in their pension
You're
plan.
absolutely right.
And here's the disgusting part about it. People like, now, I think Shelby County does, but the city of Memphis,
They
don't
opted out, right?
Yeah, they don't pay into Social Security.
Okay.
Memphis Light, Gas, and Water, they don't pay into Social Security. So if you work there for 4 years and get fired, obviously you got a due process because you can have a due process hearing. But the problem you have is you got to start all over because there ain't no Social Security in there. So that's why I say it depends,
Right.
because
Okay.
the vast majority of organizations don't have a pension plan.
All right, I got you.
And even the ones that do have a pension plan, they actually have what they call a 401 plan. You put your money every month or every pay period into the 401 system, and then they save that for a lump sum payment when you retire.
Okay, I
So
got
you
you.
build your 401k up, so you retire. So that's why I say it depends.
It depends.
It depends. It's a lawyerly answer,
Right, of
but-
course.
But I mean, I do have a justification for it.
Okay, okay.
But Jerome, a lot of times when people come in, and one of the problems they'll have is they don't like the way management does an investigation. So management does an investigation and says, Jerome, I finished my investigation. I think you're wrong. You're done. And you say, well, you didn't talk to him. You didn't talk to him.
I like that.
I say, and so now I want to file a lawsuit because you discriminated against me or you treated me harsh because you didn't do a thorough investigation. There's no law that protects that. There's no law that says the company has to do a thorough investigation. The company, because you don't have a contract. If you have a contract, then the company may be bound by some contractual things, but if you don't have one, it doesn't matter. And most places, you're not going to have a contract. So Angel says to me, I was fired from, not her.
Not this angel.
Not this Angel. Angel wasn't
The
fired.
angels are near us anyway. So
Somebody has a question, so Angel
Okay,
has
good.
sent us a question.
Okay.
All right. Angel sent us a question. Angel wasn't fired. Okay. Here's the question. I was fired from a local company, and the reason they found out I was in recovery and said via text, we can't have you come back with your history of drug abuse. We're afraid you'll steal. Do I have any legal action? Woo! Now that's a real tough one, Jerome. First off, I think it's a problem.
No question in my mind it's a problem.
Because
So there we got to remember it depends, because they just told us how it's going to work out, in my opinion, Darrell, because of the comments that they made. They were unnecessary comments to be added to a discharge. Why? Why say that?
Okay.
Especially if they put it in his file, right?
Yeah,
in her file.
Well, this company is stupid. Okay. Let me just tell you, you have a cause of action, and you got a good one because you got a stupid company. Okay. So let me just tell you that. And here's the reason why I say it's a stupid company. Substance abuse has been deemed as a medical or a disability issue.
Yes.
I mean, it's deemed that way.
Yes.
And if you work for a federal agency, they can never do this because they receive federal funds. And the law says if you receive federal funds, then you have to have an EAP program, an employee assistance program.
That's right.
So if you have a person that has a substance abuse issue and they are in a program, to get help, a penalty for them is direct discrimination because of their disability.
Yes.
And I think that that's illegal, and I think that that's problematic.
No question about it.
And I think it's more problematic. Let me just tell you, you don't really want to work for this company because they're all idiots.
Right.
I mean, if they're going to tell you this, that's just stupid.
I don't know, Darrell. This is probably a windfall for this person. This person is going to get a nice recovery.
Well,
because
now that depends.
What depends? Depends on how stupid you just
No,
said
no,
it.
they stupid. No,
Yeah.
they stupid. I'm not going to back off of that part.
So the thing about it is that they have to be restrained from ever doing this again.
Ah.
That's what I meant.
Okay, so I like what Jerome, look at you, man. Look at you. Getting your law degree on, man. I like what you just did. I agree. Because, okay, so wrongful terminations based off a protected class.
Yes.
Which this would be.
Right.
You will be entitled to back pay and benefits. When I'm talking about it depends, the question becomes how much are those back pays and benefits? Right. Because you can't get a windfall.
That's right.
And back pay and benefits are whatever you lost or whatever you would have earned from that company is what you're entitled to.
To put you back to where you would have been had none of this happened.
Had none of this
But
happened.
in this particular situation,
in this particular question,
it's going to go a little bit deeper.
The question becomes, do they need to be punished?
Yes.
And that's where they come up with punitive damage.
That's right.
Do they need to be punished for this stupid conduct? Man, I can't let them off the hook, dog. I can't let them off, man. I can't feel this, man.
Well, now, Darrell, I'm saying, now, again, I'm saying it depends. Because if this manager is operating outside of the rules, then maybe not.
And see, I'm not going to...
Do you follow me?
I follow you, but I ain't going to agree with you.
Well, here is a lone wolf type of manager
It's not
who's
possible.
operating outside of his training that's nowhere in the book.
It's not possible.
Really?
No, because if the company, you in fact get fired, the company ratifies it by affirmative firing.
Okay.
So
I got
if the
you.
company
I got you.
ratifies it, they're stupid too.
I got you. Okay.
Because
Okay.
the EEOC, I'm sorry, the Unemployment Commission or anybody is going to, this guy is going to, the same way this person said what he just said to me,
Right.
he's going to say that to
when the investigator.
to the investigator, and the investigator is going to bingo.
Well, I don't know, Darrell. I think once the snowball start rolling down the hill, this person's gonna figure out really quickly that I made a mistake, and I don't need to say it again.
Angel just sent another question, but her new question makes me back up on my previous statement.
Okay.
Not back up the way you think I'm going to back up. Is this person's still stupid.
Right.
Okay. But what I mean by back up is there is a certain class of people that are not covered by these statutes.
Oh.
You know that, right?
Not really.
So in under the discrimination, the EEOC, you got to have at least 15 employees.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
So if this company has less than a certain number of employees, then they can do stupid stuff. They're not going to be covered. That's I mean, that's just that simple, you know. And that takes me into her next question. The owner of a salon, because normally a beauty shop is not going to have 15 people. All those people that work in the salon, they rent boots. They're not employees, they're independent contractors.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah, I agree with that.
The owner of the salon just sold the business, and the new owner requires a new contract to be signed by June 1st. Now, the new owner does not wish to continue the business relationship and asked me to leave. I'm doing booth rental and have no contract with the new owner. Can she tell me to leave, or must she give me an adequate notice? I like this one.
I do too, because it's still some missing things there.
It is.
Is it a month to month,
or week to week,
or week to week,
right?
Or do I have a long-term agreement that I can be in my booth for at least a year?
Yeah.
Because when you buy a business like that, you also take on all of the contracts that's out there too.
There you go. That's what I was looking for.
Right.
If that person in fact has a contract that's not going to expire.
That's right.
So say for instance, I saw June 1st or something. Hold on a second.
That's when the new owner is saying you must sign a new one by June 1st, but has the previous one expired yet?
Exactly, and that's the problem.
Right.
The new owner can't make you sign a contract.
That's right.
Until the contract that you're under expires.
That's exactly right.
If somebody if you buy my building,
right,
and I have a tenant in there, and that tenant has a lease or a contract, you are bound by that lease.
That's exactly
I mean,
right.
the law is crystal clear.
Right.
You can't make me sign a new contract.
That's right.
However, when that contract ends, I ain't got to sign it.
But that's okay.
Yeah, I ain't got to renew it.
That's okay because
Yeah.
it gives me a time in order to find a new place to go.
Right.
And I really didn't like your crappy building anyway.
Well,
and I was just procrastinating by not going on and move out. So, but you're going to have to allow me an opportunity to find another substitute place.
Yeah, and that is not adequate notice, Jerome.
Right.
Because again, what happens is if the contract, now if you don't have a contract and you are already on week to week, you got a problem. Because then that contract is week to week.
Well,
And all I got to do is give you 1 week notice.
well,
if you don't have a contract, Jerome.
well, even then, Darrell, the law requires reasonableness. So is it reasonable for me all of a sudden, I've been here over a year and I've paid my rent on time and I know I'm supposed to have a weekly, but it's going to take me at least 30 days for me to find another place.
Yeah.
So I think it's reasonable. I think the law will require this new owner to be reasonable about me having a place to go because that's my livelihood.
And see, that's where I disagree with you, Jerome. Because I think what I understand is at that particular time, the person is on what they call is considered a holdover tenant. And as a holdover tenant, normally the holdover tenant is month to month.
I agree.
But in that particular case, they're not going to be month to month because their contract was week to week. So they can only hold over the same way their contract. At least I think this. I haven't done it. Look, the beautician business is a little different. The salon business.
Yeah.
And I have not done enough research, so I'm probably going to take I'm gonna back off of. Normally I would say it would be week to week.
Right, I got you. Right.
But normally the way I've always held and understood a holdover tenant is month to month. But in this particular case, the person told them they have until June 1st, and we're in May.
Right.
So that's almost 30 days.
And because it is 30 days, then I think then possibly they may be okay.
Yeah.
But for me to have 1 week from the time that you purchase and then I'm out, I don't think that won't stand up.
Yeah, I think that's a.
And
I backed off of it.
And I believe if you prevent me from coming in to work, I believe you can also be responsible for my lost business.
I think you can too.
Yeah.
No. No. I do. I think all of that.
Yeah.
And I think I think all of that.
Okay.
And I think if you and that one, I do think there's an argument that June 1st and we're in May, that would be considered possibly adequate notice.
Right.
But the whole key on this particular one is if you got a valid contract, don't sign a new one until your other one expires, regardless of what it is.
Plus, they're probably increasing the rent substantially too.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, y'all. All right, well, we wanted to talk about some employment law. Again, y'all squandered a good opportunity.
Well, not really.
Angel's friends,
they
some
saved
people
the
call
day.
it some employment law. Again, y'all squandered a good opportunity.
Well, not really.
Angel's friends,
they
some
saved
people
the
call
day.
it. All right, well, thank y'all for watching the show, and we'll see you back next week.